This is CBC Nova Scotia News.
Spring sizzler. Nova Scotia sun seekers soak up the unseasonably warm temperatures. New shelter. Operators are optimistic Bridgewater's soon-to-be-open facility will benefit the whole town. And dairy shakeup. Why some maritime farmers are backing Agriport's billion-dollar restructuring.
Warm and muggy July weather across the province. The problem is, it's still only May. Record-breaking heat. We'll recap the temperatures and let you know about a major cool down ahead. Your full forecast is coming up.
Good evening. It's been a hot day in Nova Scotia. A number of spots across the province, including Kentville, Greenwood, and Halifax, broke daytime high records. The CBC's Andrew Sampson dropped by the Halifax waterfront to see how people were faring in the heat.
It was a scorcher out today. After reaching 30 degrees, Halifax blew past the previous daily record of 26, set way back in 2003. For tourists like Marie and Ron Richards, visiting all the way from Paris, Ontario, the great weather was a nice surprise.
They knew that we were coming. We planned this for you, okay?
For this couple, the sun sure beat the snow back home in Winnipeg.
It was pretty brutal. It was actually snowing. My dad texted me a couple days ago that it was still snowing at home.
The Halifax boardwalk was packed with people enjoying the sun and trying to find a nice treat to help them cool off.
We're probably going to find some place that sells some boba tea.
We're going to Flynn's Dairy Bar for a pistachio Nutella milkshake.
Yeah!
The warm weather was mostly cause for celebration. Even as we all know, too many sunny days in a row can be cause for concern. These days, the threat of wildfires is all too real.
It's unfortunate that that may happen again, but I kind of take it day by day. If it's nice out, I'm going to enjoy my time how I can.
Today was so hot that some people even went swimming. At Chocolate Lake, plenty of sunbathers were taking a dip.
It's not freezing, but it's pretty cold. It's all right. It's refreshing, definitely.
Enjoy the heat while it lasts. For the rest of the week, the sun does look like it's sticking around, but temperatures are set to drop to a more seasonable level tomorrow. Andrew Sampson, CBC News, Halifax.
And some breaking news to bring you now. Multiple crews are responding to a wildfire in Queens County. The fire broke out late this afternoon near East Port Labert Road, about 20 kilometers south of Port Mattoon. The Region of Queens Municipality posted an update to their social media page just before 5 p.m. The municipality says DNR is on the scene with support from several Queens County fire departments. Residents are being asked to stay out of the area to allow firefighters to do their work. With today's extreme heat, the province has updated its daily burn restrictions. Burning is currently allowed on Cape Breton between 2 p.m. and 8 a.m. On the mainland, burning is only allowed after 7 p.m. Restrictions will be updated again on Thursday morning. And Jay is in with the first look at the weather. And boy, it really felt like midsummer out there as opposed to mid-May.
Yeah, we're like almost 1 month out exactly to the official start of summer, and man, oh man, we were looking at incredible heat across much of Nova Scotia today. It was a bit cooler for some coastal areas, but for the most part, I just picked some of the hottest temperatures, 5 of the hottest temperatures I could find. The hot spot in Nova Scotia, certainly Kedzie Park, where 32.1 degrees. Felt into the mid to high 30s, factoring in the humidex there as well. We saw at Halifax, for example, it was about 25 out of the Shearwater Airport, but as we look to Stanfield, 30.3, felt about 34, 35 with the humidex. Caribou Point was over 30, Greenwood as well, so very warm conditions, which is going to make tomorrow feel just that much cooler. A cold front moving through tonight. We'll see maybe some showers, isolated, slight chance. You could even hear a rumble of thunder in a few spots, but otherwise does clear out to a mainly sunny one later in the day, but that's it for a daytime high for your Thursday. It's going to feel almost like parka weather after today's heat.
All right, quite a drop. Okay, thanks, Jay. Nova Scotia's first call for bids for offshore wind licenses has yet to open, but the province is already thinking about doing it again. The province's Associate Deputy Minister of Energy says he wants to create a continuous pipeline of projects. The first call for 5 gigawatts of offshore wind energy is expected this year. Premier Tim Houston wants to eventually see 60 gigawatts of offshore wind developed. The operators of a new shelter opening up in Bridgewater are optimistic the facility will benefit not only the people using it, but the entire town. The shelter is set to open next month after a controversial drop-in center in town closed following community complaints. Josh Hoffman reports.
Staff at a new homeless shelter opening in Bridgewater are reassuring the community after some issues with a now closed drop-in center. The South Shore Doors Open Association recently received more than $2 million from the province to open a new 24/7 emergency shelter. It will have nearly 24 beds and several transitional housing units. The association will move its current overnight shelter at a local church to a new building just outside the downtown core.
We are very proud of this location for our shelter. We are standing in what is a forested, bird-filled area. We have lots of space behind the shelter in the backyard for people to hang out and have quiet moments. And so it will not be in public view in the same way that a drop-in center might be.
The new shelter was announced just weeks after a downtown drop-in center called Cedar Place closed following concerns from the community about open drug use and an increase in crime.
Just very scary for a lot of the local residents, the disorder that was here, and it was taking up basically all of our day.
So how will the new shelter be different from the drop-in center?
That is the number one question on everyone's mind, and the difference is it's not a drop-in. It's not a come and go kind of free for all. There will be rules and accountability in place, so we didn't see that at the drop-in.
I find being a manager with lived experience helps keep the peace.
Miller feels her own experience with addiction and homelessness helps her treat everyone who comes through the shelter as a human being, and they seem to appreciate that. Thomas Smith became homeless after his wife died following a long illness that drained their finances. He says he owes everything to shelter staff, which is why he's volunteering to help get the new building ready.
If it wasn't for the shelter, I don't know where I'd be, if I'd even be alive. So anything I can do to help somebody else who might be in my similar situation, I'm willing to do it.
The shelter is expected to open in June. Josh Hoffman, CBC News, Bridgewater.
And we're learning more about the wildfire burning in Queens County. Nova Scotia DNR says it's an estimated 3 hectares in size and currently out of control. The province's 4 new fixed-wing air tankers, a DNR helicopter, and multiple volunteer fire departments are on the scene. A federal program to bring refugees to Canada to fill labor shortages has been put on hold, leaving a number of hopeful applicants without a path to a new life here. Some had been offered employment with an assisted living organization in Nova Scotia, but after long waits for action, those job offers were suddenly rescinded. Kayla Hounsel reports.
Kakuma, one of the largest refugee camps in the world. Some of the people who live here have been waiting years to come to Canada, approved with job offers in hand, until those offers were abruptly rescinded at the 11th hour.
I was very traumatized. Even up to now, I'm depressed.
The refugees were invited to come to Canada through the Economic Mobility Pathways Pilot, a federal program designed to help skilled displaced people find new homes while simultaneously addressing labor shortages in this country. They had job offers with Northwood, a continuing care organization in Nova Scotia. Jumu Asukulu Shauri got his offer in May 2023. Then, in August 2025, he got this letter. Unfortunately, we are no longer in a position to proceed with the supports and positions necessary to welcome new staff.
For almost 3 years, they are giving us hope. Then suddenly, you are not interested. So how can you feel? You know, I'm a human being.
Northwood refused to do an interview or answer questions about this, but in a statement said the job offers were extended in good faith several years ago. But as the program's timeline extended, many of these roles were filled through local recruitment efforts.
This is just not an acceptable development with an employer.
This advocate says Northwood rescinded 18 job offers, and many of the candidates were in the very late stages of the program.
Literally, they needed housing to be secured, and they could get on a plane and they could go.
More than 1,200 people have come to Canada this way. The federal government initially pledged to push these applications through within 6 months. It's now at a year and a half, and the government has temporarily paused the program.
I don't hate Canada.
Shauri is still hopeful.
I can be proud to come in Canada if I get that chance.
A chance to start a new life and build a career helping Canadians. Kayla Hounsell, CBC News, Halifax.
Some dairy farmers say Agropore's decision to close a New Brunswick plant will be good for the industry in the long term. 3 weeks ago, the Quebec-based company announced the Butternut Valley plant that employs about 60 people will close by the end of 2028. The company will instead concentrate production of milk protein products in an expanded plant in Bedford. The CBC's Mark Legier reports from St. John.
Come on. At 4 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon, these cows line up to be milked. At dairy farms across the province, they're producing too much for the manufacturing capacity in the region. So while many have been upset by the news of the planned closure of the Sussex area Agropure plant, dairy farmers say the changes are good news in the long term. Farmers were thrilled when the dairy plant first opened more than 40 years ago. Paul Gauntz was a young farmer in the Sussex area when Dairytown opened.
It was huge back then because we were having issues then trying to find homes for our milk.
More than 40 years later, the industry is once again facing manufacturing capacity challenges. Gauntz supports the decision to close the Sussex area plant and invest in future growth in Bedford, Nova Scotia, and Miramichi, where the province is investing $2.4 million to grow the plant's liquid milk processing capacity.
We needed capacity, we needed new technology and upgraded plants. The bonus is the Miramichi increase in production as well. So sad but happy long-term for the dairy industry.
According to the Dairy Farmers of New Brunswick and Nova Scotia combined produce around 377 million litres of milk per year. 260 million litres is sold to local processors, and 70 million litres is shipped to Ontario and Quebec as part of a regional supply management agreement. That leaves a surplus of nearly 50 million litres.
All our plants are full. Dairytown and Truro and Bedford and Miramichi, they're all full. We have to send that surplus to Ontario and Quebec.
Where is the growing demand for increased capacity coming from? Farmers and processors say consumer demand for protein products.
The younger people, they want protein everything. Protein bars, protein shakes. And the cheese industry likes filtered protein better. It helps their cheese yield a lot. So they get at least a 20% increase in cheese yield if they use the liquid concentrated protein.
If they give less than what they were supposed to, this light will flash.
Karen Versloot is married to Gauntz, and together they operate a Keswick Ridge farm with 87 cows currently producing milk. She says the farm has doubled its production quota in size over 25 years, and she'd like to see it double again going forward.
Right now, I think dairy is in a very positive light, and I think that's great. And I hope it continues that way, and I hope that we can always continue to meet the demands of what the consumer wants.
The plants in Miramichi and Bedford are being expanded to exceed, not just meet, current demand.
Soccer fans will soon be paying more to see games at the Wanderers grounds in Halifax. The municipality is adding a $3 surcharge to tickets. An extra 5% will be charged on alcoholic beverages purchased at the game. The city is trying to recoup a portion of its investment in the infrastructure and management of the grounds. The Wanderers have played there since 2019, but it was intended as a temporary venue. The team's owner says he presented his case for a permanent venue to the city in 2023.
Here we are now 3 years later. We still don't have an answer on what that permanency can look like as a solution. So we're really at the point where we need to figure out what the long-term answer is. If it's going to be here, then will they listen to kind of the proposal that we've made? And if it's not going to work here, then we need to start looking at some alternative venues.
Martin says the Wanderers' grounds are expensive to run because they have to rent out their infrastructure like the bleachers and toilets. He says the extra cost will be added on future ticket sales and will not impact season ticket holders. Sure looked like a summer day at Chocolate Lake in Halifax. Jay's up next with the full weather forecast. Do stay with us. And Jay's back with his full weather forecast. So after the hot weather, it sounds like Mother Nature is turning on the AC.
Yeah, we are going to see it. It's almost a little weather whiplash as we look to tomorrow. Temperatures will be in the low to mid-teens for most of the province, which after today's record-breaking heat, and we saw a number of daytime high records broken for the 20th of May, it's going to feel just that much colder. Although we do get into some sunnier conditions, I do not see, and we could use some rain, I do not see wet weather until very late into that long-range outlook. You'll see that in a moment, but I will say cooler temperatures, pretty consistent over the next few days, even into the weekend as well. But look at today. We saw a number of unofficial daytime high records broken so far. We'll have to wait for that official confirmation. But Greenwood, 31 degrees. Kent, Kentville, 30 degrees. Halifax at Stanfield, at least, it was cooler by the water, but 30 degrees there. Felt around 35 with the Humidex this afternoon. Upper Stewiacke, 31. We even saw temperatures up into the low to mid-20s into Cape Breton. You see Bacquarel Point at 14 degrees. So there were spots where that wind from the south was coming off the water that were noticeably cooler, actually quite cool today just from the wind direction and that marine influence. But if you were inland or away from that onshore breeze, and it was quite a breeze in a few spots, man, oh man, did it ever feel like we were into the month of July, mid-July, late July versus May 20th today. Satellite and radar picture showing a few very isolated showers developing with that heat and humidity in place. If you do see a shower, it is an isolated chance tonight. I can't rule out a rumble of thunder just based on the amount of energy available with that humid air in place. We do have a cold front that is approaching. That will see some very scattered showers working through mainly into northern and eastern parts of the province, and you could see up into Cape Breton. That shower chance persist past midnight tonight. Otherwise, cold front sweeps through. I do expect some low cloud to develop overnight into the morning hours tomorrow, mainly for southern areas. You may see a mainly cloudy start to the day down towards the South Shore region. Halifax, more of a mix of sun and cloud. Late in the day, though, it does start to clear up nicely, and some forecast models do so mainly sunny conditions into the afternoon. Clearer conditions for more northern and eastern areas. Those clouds will be passing, and I don't expect them to be quite as thick as this forecast model, the weather picture it's painting for us. So decently sunny, but a lot cooler and fairly breezy with that northwesterly wind tomorrow. As we look to your Friday, looking at lots of sunshine, almost uninterrupted sunshine for the day on Friday to round out what is for many a short work week. And then as we get into the weekend, we'll hold on to the sunny and dry conditions, and the temperatures should remain on the cool side as well. You'll see that in just a moment in your long-range forecast. As for tonight, shower chance is this evening. Cannot rule out a rumble of thunder as it is a cold front moving into a hot and humid air mass. But all of the showers do look to be very scattered, very isolated in nature, and they pass fairly quickly. So past midnight tonight, that sky actually does begin to clear up a little bit. We look towards Cape Breton. This is where in eastern shores of Northumberland, this is where you could be looking at those showers, maybe lingering past midnight tonight. Will be blustery, but also that is a cooler wind direction tomorrow. It's from the northwest, and that's going to subdue temperatures, despite the fact that we do get into sunnier conditions later in the day. Should be mainly sunny for northern and eastern areas, but that's it for daytime highs. We go from over 30 for many areas today to just 12 to 15 for afternoon temperatures tomorrow, even cooler as we look for more northern and eastern parts of the province. And it will feel cool, certainly by comparison to what we saw today, but also with that brisk wind from the northwest, just making it feel a little cooler. So as we take a look at the long-range outlook, we do look at that mix of sun and cloud, maybe a little bit cloudier into the morning and early afternoon for your Thursday for much of southern and central Nova Scotia, more northern and eastern areas. I do expect to be sunnier. We see that clearing trend Thursday night into Friday. Mainly sunny sky, but that wind from the northwest will still be quite brisk, and that's going to subdue those temperatures, keeping them low to mid-teens for many areas. So optimistically, around 15 for that daytime high on Friday. If you have yard work to do, these are the days to do it, because we have a reminder of what it's like in about a month or two's time after the very warm weather today. We'll see a few clouds develop, temperature back up into the 15 to 17 degree range for inland areas on Saturday. As we look to your Sunday, still cool. And I know many areas hoping for some wet weather. It would be beneficial after today's hot and dry weather. Likely not going to see any significant rain. And I'm not saying it's necessarily going to be significant, but maybe some more substantial showers moving in for Monday. Good chance for showers Tuesday and Wednesday as well, and those temperatures still at or below that seasonal average through the next 7 days. Amy?
All right, thanks for that, Jay. We're back after this. Spring planting is well underway in Nova Scotia, and farmers are facing one of the most expensive growing seasons on record. Costs are up for everything from fuel to fertilizer and machinery parts. Alicia King is the president of the Nova Scotia Federation of Agriculture and a farmer in Antigonish. So yeah, we're all noticing the sharp spike in the cost of fuel as a result of fighting in the Middle East. Can you describe how it's impacting farmers at the moment?
Well, I mean, I don't think I have to really explain that too much. You know, so many things that we use on a farm on a daily basis require a fuel input, be it the tractors that you're seeing going through the fields right now, doing all of our planting, to even keeping heat on in the greenhouses, and even some of our other farming operations are very closely reliant on fuel. So right now, every time that cost goes up, that's another cost that we have to try to either take out of our budget somewhere else, or perhaps there's a way in which we can leverage it back in another manner. But you know, only about 10 cents per dollar spent on food in this province makes it back to the farmer. So there's not a lot of wiggle room there, so to speak.
Well, what are you hearing from your fellow farmers as they try to adjust to this new reality? It must be quite daunting.
Oh, it is. It is. You know, we get into this season very optimistic. We're so excited. Spring is new life. Spring is new growth. And in the farming world, spring is time to move forward and march on. So, you know, what we tend to do as farmers and business owners is to, you know, the crop needs to go in. We still need to get the crop in. We need to do all of those things. So as I said earlier, we may try to budget or skim the budget somewhere else in order to deal with the higher costs that we're having from fuel and fertilizer and different inputs that we have. But the margins are tight. The margins are tight in agriculture, so it is certainly not an easy task to try to have to come up with ways to cut the pressures of those high costs.
Of course, last year the province experienced a major drought. How did that impact the quality of the soil that the farmers are planting in now?
Well, as you know, we don't recover from a drought overnight. We were very pleased to see the snow that we did have that covered our province for such a time, but it takes a long time to come back from that. So, you know, there's a lot of things that people are trying to do, by people I mean farmers, trying to do to manage those soils, as you spoke of, to help improve water infiltration and retention so that we can withstand drought conditions for prolonged periods of time. So there's different kind of whole farm approaches that farmers are doing. You know, it could be cover cropping, it could be adding different green material into their soils. You know, the less compaction that soil has, the better too. So fewer, you know, we have drone operations now so that people aren't driving across and compacting that soil as much as they had in previous times. So there is a lot of things that farmers are doing, and from a federation level, as the president of the Nova Scotia Federation of Agriculture, we have been working closely with the Nova Scotia Department of Agriculture, as well as the Department of Environment and Climate Change, with a water management initiative. So we've hosted some sessions with some of our members, which are all farmers, in this last week. And these sessions were an opportunity for the farmers to share some of their experiences, some of the challenges, and how they prioritize water management on their farms, so that we can come up with a collaborative approach on how we can work with industry partners to try to have a whole farm water management concentration on our farms.
Are there any crops that you think might do quite well this summer, or ones you're a bit worried about?
Well, you know, at the end of the day, as I said earlier, we're really trying to determine what the long-term impact of this drought was. And by that, you know, we have the whole budding process. I said the other day, you know, soon we're going to have the Annapolis Valley Apple Blossom Festival. And that will really be an opportunity for us to determine how those tree crops are making out with their bud formation and the onset of the blossoms, as well as in wild blueberry, for example. Some of our other crops, like our forages, our grains, those things there, they will have impact, but a lot of that impact is going to be based on what our season looks like this year. So, time is still telling us what has happened last year. It's a long game in agriculture, and sometimes those impacts can be lasting.
Well, with the cost of so many things on the rise, how will that affect the prices consumers pay once those crops are ready?
Well, I mean, farmers are consumers as well. We eat every day, and we are as concerned about the rising food costs. But there's so much disruption and uncertainty in the markets right now that we need to be so cautious, right? So at the end of the day, there is going to be impact. I can't say that there won't be, but one thing we need to do is we need to be able to make sure that we're producing a reliable food to feed our local communities, our neighbors, and our province and our country. So as farmers, we want to make sure that we're still producing that crop that is a reliable, safe crop to eat, or to input into other aspects. Because in agriculture, it's not just food either. We grow fiber, we grow Christmas trees here in Nova Scotia. So there's lots of things that we can take into consideration. But we do have to manage our costs, obviously, very closely and stay very efficient in what it is that we're managing here within our farms.
All right, well, best of luck with the upcoming season, and thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you very much for having us.
Coming up, BC Premier David Eby takes his grievances to Mark Carney in a high-stakes meeting in Vancouver. And the U.S. announces criminal charges against the Cuban president as tensions between the two nations ramp up. Welcome back. Prime Minister Mark Carney is in British Columbia on what some might call a fence-mending mission. He held a closed-door meeting with Premier David Eby, who's been critical of an agreement Carney signed with Alberta last week for a proposed oil pipeline to the Pacific running right through BC. David Thurton reports.
Lately, Mark Carney and David Eby haven't been seeing eye to eye, something BC's Premier addressed head-on.
There's no doubt in my mind but that the Prime Minister is a friend to British Columbia. And an important part of friendship is telling each other the truth.
The Prime Minister and the BC Premier held their first meeting since Ottawa and Alberta signed another deal committing to building a potential pipeline to BC's west coast as early as next year.
The proposed West Coast oil pipeline would transport more than 1 million barrels of oil per day.
A move those two leaders said is aimed at showing Canada can work for Albertans. But it came amid growing calls for the province to leave Canada and the prospect of a fall referendum on the issue.
Really, we're left alienated at the cost of Alberta.
With concerns a West Coast pipeline will bring oil tankers to the North Coast, BC's Indigenous leaders say the energy accord between Alberta and Ottawa divides more than it unites.
Who's left out of the conversation is the province of BC, and First Nations in BC have been left out of the conversation.
But not all British Columbians feel that way.
I would say the vibe in British Columbia is complicated. There is much stronger support for an oil pipeline than there was 15 years ago, even within British Columbia. But that support varies a lot between rural and urban. It depends on the path, a North Coast path versus a South Coast path.
Amid those differences, the Prime Minister attempted to address the varied concerns.
We are building BC strong so we can build Canada strong.
Carney telling this audience a pipeline is not a done deal.
The pipeline will only be advanced with the following prerequisites being met.
Those prerequisites include Alberta advancing a carbon capture and storage project called Pathways and respecting the constitutional duty to consult First Nations, which Carney said is non-negotiable. David Thurton, CBC News, Ottawa.
The federal government will summon Israel's ambassador to Canada over what it calls the unacceptable treatment of detained Gaza Flotilla activists. This after Israel's National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir posted a video taunting and threatening the activists.
הם באו עם הרבה גאווה כגיבורים גדולים. תראי איך הם נראים עכשיו, תסתכלי. תראי איך הם נראים עכשיו.
In the video, Ben-Gvir is taunting and telling detained activists they should remain in prison for a, quote, long time. The flotilla was attempting to breach Israel's naval blockade of Gaza to deliver food and medicine, but it was intercepted by Israeli forces. Rafi Boudjikanian has more.
Canada's joining other countries like the Netherlands and France in summoning its Israeli ambassador. Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand made the announcement from a news conference in Estonia.
Absolutely unacceptable. Canada has already imposed strict sanctions on Ben-Gvir, including asset freezes and a travel ban in response to his repeated incitement of violence. The protection of civilians and respect for human dignity must be upheld at all times.
It's the fourth time in about a year that the Canadian government has summoned its Israeli ambassador over incidents in the Middle East. This one also drew criticism from Prime Minister Mark Carney. In a statement, he said, "The abominable treatment of civilians aboard the flotilla, including that which is documented in footage shared by Itamar Ben-Gvir, is unacceptable. Canada has already imposed strict sanctions on Mr. Ben-Gvir, including asset freezes and a travel ban, in response to his repeated incitement of violence. The protection of civilians and respect for human dignity must be upheld everywhere at all times." The activists met last week near Turkey before setting sail toward the Gaza blockade, saying their intention was to draw attention to that naval blockade and force Western governments into pressing Israel into lifting it. They were intercepted by Israel in international waters. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu saying in a statement he has asked his relevant authorities to deport the activists as soon as possible, calling them provocateurs and terrorist supporters. He did, however, also criticize Ben-Gvir's actions, saying they do not represent Israel's norms and values. Rafi Bujikani on CBC News, Ottawa.
The U.S. government has filed murder charges against Raul Castro, the former president of Cuba, in connection with the death of American citizens 3 decades ago. It's part of the Trump administration's ongoing pressure campaign for a regime change in the communist Caribbean nation. And the CBC's Chris Reyes reports.
Today, we are announcing an indictment charging Raul Castro and several others with conspiracy to kill U.S. nationals.
Those U.S. nationals, 3 American citizens and 1 U.S. permanent resident, were killed when their unarmed civilian aircraft was shot down by the Cuban military in 1996. The men were on a humanitarian mission called Brothers to the Rescue, patrolling waters for stranded Cuban rafters who may be fleeing the country. Raul Castro was the Minister of Defense at the time. His brother, Fidel Castro, took power in Cuba's 1959 Communist Revolution and ruled the country for 5 decades. The Cuban government has long defended their actions, arguing that the flight was in Cuban airspace. The U.S. and a UN watchdog have asserted that the plane was in international airspace. The charges also include murder and names other individuals connected to the shooting.
President Trump is committed to restoring a very simple but important principle. If you kill Americans, we will pursue you, no matter who you are, no matter what title you hold, and in this case, no matter how much time has passed.
The U.S. has intensified its economic sanctions against Cuba in recent months, following the capture of Venezuelans' fallen leader Nicolas Maduro in January on drug-related charges. Since then, the U.S. has blocked Cuba's access to Venezuelan oil, leading to massive fuel shortages and nationwide blackouts. President Donald Trump called the indictment an important moment, but not an escalation of tensions.
It's a failing nation. You see that it's falling apart. They have no oil. They have no money. It's a failing nation, so I just can't tell you that. But we're there to help. We're there to help the families.
By many accounts, Raul Castro remains an influential figure in Cuban politics. Acting AG Todd Blanche didn't share details on how the former Cuban leader would be brought into custody, only saying that it will depend on the circumstances. He added that Castro will be expected to show up in a U.S. court by his own will or by another way. Chris Reyes, CBC News, New York.
The World Health Organization says the number of suspected Ebola cases in Central Africa has now risen to 600, with more than 130 deaths. The WHO says the rare strain of the virus has probably been spreading undetected in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo for the past 2 months. And helping the region manage the outbreak will be far from easy. The CBC's Crystal Gamansing explains why.
The World Health Organization says Ebola cases will continue to rise, but that the outbreak currently does not meet the criteria of a pandemic. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus says the global risk is low, while the regional risk is high. In addition to the rare strain of Ebola spreading, the eastern province of the Democratic Republic of Congo, at the center of the outbreak, is also dealing with a challenging security situation.
Ituri province has been marred with conflict for some years, but the last few months was even very intense. In April, I think the highest number of civilians killed, and more than 100,000 people newly displaced. And displacement means not only displacement of the population, but of course, including the health workers.
The Director General said that understanding the situation on the ground is critical, and that adds to the need for global cooperation to ensure continued quality health care, along with virus testing, infection countermeasures, and providing people with good information about Ebola. As therapeutics go, the best possible vaccine candidate is still several months away.
The
is a RSV Bundibugyo vaccine. So this would be the equivalent of Ervebo, which would be specific for Bundibugyo. There are no doses of this which are currently available for clinical trial. So this needs to be prioritized as the most promising Bundibugyo candidate vaccine. The information that we have is that this is likely to take 6 to 9 months.
More than 3,000 Canadians are registered as being in the DR of Congo and Uganda. At this point, Global Affairs Canada says it is not aware of any Canadian affected by the outbreak. Crystal Gamansing, CBC News, London.
One footnote to that story, health officials in Ontario have now said a patient is being assessed in hospital following recent travel to East Africa. That person is being tested for a range of possible infections, including Ebola, out of an abundance of caution. Officials emphasize there remains no confirmed cases of Ebola in Ontario. A new report warns the world is not ready for the next pandemic. Karen Pauls explains why and looks at how prepared Canada is.
As Ebola spreads in Central Africa, and public health officials are still dealing with a deadly outbreak of Andes hantavirus, this warning.
We definitely are not ready for the next pandemic.
A new report from a WHO-appointed board says there's still not equitable access to diagnostics, vaccines, and therapeutics, putting everyone at risk.
COVID told us that, pandemics don't observe borders.
This expert says the frequency of these zoonotic or animal-to-human viruses is increasing.
Mother Nature is not being coy with us. She's telling us exactly what she has planned for us.
First, there was SARS in 2002, then MERS, Ebola, COVID-19, Mpox, and H5N1.
We have to recognize that this is a new normal.
All this as the United States has slashed funding for vaccine research and withdrawn from the WHO. Virologists like this one are worried.
Because we're effectively going into a situation where it's like everyone for themselves. We're going to be in real trouble if a virus emerges someplace where we're not equipped to deal with it.
During the COVID-19 pandemic, Canada had outdated plans, weak data sharing systems, and poorly managed vaccine stockpiles. But the Public Health Agency says it's addressed those vulnerabilities.
There's a lot of emphasis going into public health research and preparedness. No one country and no one lab will be able to do this all by themselves.
And that's why the report has 3 urgent recommendations. Establish a permanent, independent body to track pandemic risk. Finalize an agreement to share vaccines, tests, and treatments. And sustainable funding for prevention, preparedness, and response. Karen Pauls, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Markets in Toronto and New York were given a jolt Wednesday, and oil prices fell after President Donald Trump said the U.S. and Iran could be nearing a deal to end the current war. Let's take a look at the numbers as we go to break. And we're back to wrap things up. So, Jay, if you didn't like the hot temperatures today, maybe tomorrow will suit you a little better.
Yeah, certainly for folks that were working outdoors. And a shout out, a tip of the weather hat to all of the students, school staff, teachers that work in schools that aren't often air conditioned because they're not really built for summer temperatures because they're off for the summer. Tip of the weather hat to you because today would have been an uncomfortable day today just looking at those temperatures. 31 in Greenwood, 32 in Keji. So just very, very warm temperatures across most of mainland areas of Nova Scotia, even much of Cape Breton, away from the coast was very, very warm today. We will see that cold front moving in this evening, so the isolated shower chance with a slight isolated thunderstorm risk is there. That cold front will see showers generally wrapping up late this evening, that chance, and it is just a chance. Very isolated, those potential showers and thunder showers. They will linger past midnight for more northern and eastern areas, and then that sky does begin to clear across those regions. I do expect some low cloud down towards the south shore, kind of just making its way into the HRM through the morning and early afternoon, and then we'll see that sky beginning to clear mid to late afternoon across the province, becoming very sunny but still cool into Friday, and it will be quite cool. We're going to start out with a few cloudy periods in the morning, temperature around 12 degrees. That's not a bad start. Could dip a little bit further by mid-morning. Recovers to about 13 towards the noon hour. As we look towards the 4 o'clock hour, around 14 degrees. I think mid-afternoon into the Halifax area, around 15 is possible. Maybe a little warmer up into Stanfield, towards Stanfield Airport. Maybe a 16-degree daytime high, but after today, temperatures like this are going to feel quite cool, and it will be breezy, particularly in the morning where those winds could be gusting upwards of 40 km, possibly a little bit higher for exposed areas, and that is a cooler wind direction from the northwest. So 15, maybe a few days ago, wouldn't be so bad, but after today, I think it's going to have a lot of folks talking for your Thursday. Andy?
Yeah, keep that spring jacket handy. All right, thanks, Jay. University students from across Canada were in New Brunswick this week for a little friendly competition, racing on the Skidoo River in Shediac. The catch, their boats were made out of concrete. The future engineers spent an entire year figuring out the perfect design and formula to keep their boats afloat, holding up 4 paddlers. Have a look.
How does one make concrete float?
It's definitely a tough one. It's hard to make concrete float on water.
We're here for the Canadian National Concrete Canoe Competition, and we're so excited to be here racing in the water.
This year we have 23 teams, so it's the biggest we've had in a long time, I believe forever actually.
The combination of a very, very low density concrete and a proper shaped hull is what causes all of the boats to float. You can do a lot of different shapes and sizes as you see in the competition.
It's actually really interesting. Our concrete for our canoe, we make our mix in-house, and it's about a quarter of the density of regular concrete, which is less dense than water. So this is why it floats.
The nice thing about the competition like this is, yes, it's really competitive, but once you get here, it's sort of just friendly. Every single person is willing to share any piece of information about their boat, whether it is like construction methods or anything like that. Not only is it a competitive competition, but we're all here to have fun and learn from it and work towards the next year.
I thought it was completely crazy. I had no clue actually what went into making a concrete canoe and how we actually make this float. I've learned so much. Even just in these past, how many days? 4 days?
4 days of comp, yeah.
4 days of competition. It's just crazy the amount of learning you do in this period of time. There's also the period of time, the whole, school year.
Yeah, 8 months.
8 months. But competition especially is a time where you learn the most. I have so many notes, it's not even funny.
Instead of just going to class and saying, all right, I'm just doing my exam and studying, it's like they're really putting their hands into it and they're figuring out how much leadership it needs because they're always leader in the team and they're going to be, heads of each department. So it really simulates a real company. So it gives them a better approach in their real life afterwards of how is it going to work? How am I going to fix all of that with my personal life and how am I gonna, live with being an engineer. So it's better for them. Like, it's not obligated, like it's optional for them to choose to do that, but they like doing it because it gives them so much more.
Fun way to learn. Well, that is it for us tonight. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.